Hello and welcome to the Amazing Nerdiverse. I'm Jeff Grant.
I'm Steven Tucker.
This is the podcast where we talk about all things Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
We're talking Spidey this week.
Morbius.
Yeah.
Mysterio.
That's the first guy I always think of when I think of Spider-Man.
Kraven the Hunter. Green Goblin. Dr. Octopus.
Hobgoblin.
Chameleon.
Aunt May solo movie.
Forget it.
Just took all the wind out of your sails with that one.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
All right, later.
Bye.
Still like right in front of the mic though, so it doesn't quite work.
Bye.
Well, normally I would correct myself, the stupid thing I come up with at the beginning, but this week we actually are talking about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We're going to do 2 episodes this week because we didn't have one last week, so we're going to do 2 to kind of make up for that fact, give us more work. Give me more work.
Yeah.
In post.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so I thought we would do our Spider-Man Homecoming spoiler review now because...
I don't want to do that.
Oh, okay. You didn't like it that much?
Nah.
No, but, like, yeah, we...
Saw it.
Yeah, but no, it's out now. It's in theaters. Other people have seen it now. And so,
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's in theaters now.
Other
saw it
people have
early.
seen it? You mean I'm not special anymore?
You were never special. Let's get that on front sheet.
But
All right, so this is going to be our review episode. The next episode, this should be coming up. I'm going to try to drop this Friday. Monday, we're going to be dropping our news episode, talking about all the news and stuff that we missed over the past couple weeks. All right, so let's talk about Spider-Man.
let's do it. Fucking hated it.
I know you did. We can finally your voice will be heard. Okay, so yeah, let's just start from the beginning. When we were going into the theater, when we were on our way there, I mentioned, I was like, you know what I want to see? I want to see the Marvel Studios logo with that original classic Spider-Man theme. But because Michael Giacchino released that clip online of them doing that, and I thought I was like they have to put that in the movie or whatever. So the movie starts. It's the Sony logo, the Columbia logo, all that stuff, but no Marvel Studios logo. I'm like, oh, bummer. And I was like, maybe they didn't get to do it because like technically it's Sony's movie and all that stuff. So it opens, but it opens straight up MCU opening with like the aftermath of Avengers.
Yep.
And, like, you see, like, the Chitauri, like, just aftermath of that whole attack in the Battle of New York from the Avengers. And I thought that was a really cool way to set up that character. Set up the Vulture and all the villains, really. The Vulture, the Shockers, the Tinkerer, and all that stuff. It really, like, you see them working and stuff, and then they just get that shit pulled out from under them and everything. And they introduce damage control. That was really cool. That's something cool from the comics that was cool seeing them incorporate into the movie world. It makes sense too, like, and I like the fact that it was a flashback and they set that up because there's like, oh, this is what happens when these crazy.
So does that mean that Spider-Man Homecoming takes place like in 2020 or something?
Oh, because of the. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what that is. I
mean.
Yeah,
it would make sense for Doctor Strange, because like you could argue, like
it
takes him a couple years to learn all that stuff.
Yeah,
so that builds that in.
I don't know. Yeah, that was weird. If you don't know what we're talking about, in the movie, right after all this stuff, it says 8 years later. Now,
8 years from, we're assuming they're talking about Avengers taking place in 2012.
Yeah, Avengers came out in 2012, so 8 years later it'll be 2020.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that math checks out. I don't know what that was about. Like, I don't know why that... I mean, they have all this, like, timeline stuff going on there. Like, I mean, do we just... I mean, I guess we assume that movies take place the year they come out for the most part, but, like...
We do, but that doesn't necessarily mean...
Yeah, so maybe it is set in a little ways down the line. Maybe Civil War and Doctor Strange and... all those, but like I just don't know. Like, how many years was it between Avengers 1 and 2, And then it was supposed to be Civil War was supposed to be a year after that, and this is supposed to be picking up shortly after. I mean, Civil War. I mean, the beginning of the movie is Civil War,
right?
And then it jumps forward like 4 months or something like that. I don't know. See, those things like I like knowing when those things line up, but when they don't line up perfectly, I'm just like, all right, it doesn't really matter.
Not really.
I mean, really, you're just. It's just the years. It's just numbers and everything, and you're like focusing too much on those details of it and everything. And, you know, even if it is, like, you know, longer stretch of time between certain events and stuff, that's okay, because that means for me, I like that kind of thing, because that just means other shit was going on in between those, and you could always jump back and tell little stories that were going on here and there. So they picked up with that Avengers thing, and then they did that awesome opening, like, after the whole, they introduced the bad guys, and then they did that thing, a present day thing, where they showed the Vulture coming in, landing, and stuff. I loved that. I loved how they just got to the Vulture right away.
Yeah, because we know who Spider-Man is.
Yeah,
so we can just get the
jump
the
right
villain.
to the Vulture. Yeah. And so then they did the Marvel Studios logo with the original theme. I loved that. I was so happy because we literally. Yeah, as we were walking in, we were saying, what if they did that? And then they did it, and I was like, hell yes.
I got teary-eyed when they started playing the music.
Yeah, I think I noticed. I looked over, I was like, yeah, and I was like elbowing you, like, hell yeah, and you were just like, you're just staring straight ahead. And
I was like, gotta be a tough boy.
You gotta be one of them tough boys you hear about. Okay, so then it picked up with Civil War. You got to see, like, from his point of view, his little video stuff. I had fun with that, but every time I see that sort of thing... Well,
it started with a film by Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute.
Yeah. But, like, every time I see that sort of thing, I'm always like, what if someone finds that? What if...
They will eventually. Yeah. And they'll turn that into a thing.
And I would love that. Like, somewhere, like, way down the line, like, remember that? And then we'll bring it into this. So, yeah, like, so he goes from being called up to the big leagues and... fighting Captain America and Giant Man and all these crazy superheroes, and just like kind of establishing himself amongst those guys. Goes from that to now he's just back at high school and no one will answer his phone calls.
That's what it's like when, like, remember when, like, we were in bands and stuff, and like you play a show and you feel really cool, and then the next day you got to go back to work, and you're just like,
We talk about that all the time, because even like when we make movies and stuff, we're working on films, like we'll go shoot a film on the weekend and stuff, and it'll be awesome. And we're happy and doing what we want to do.
And then the next day you got to go back and
you got to go back to work.
Be an asshole.
Yeah, just be the world's toilet bowl.
Pretty much.
So yeah, like, but I like that. I like the high school.
You like toilets?
Yeah, but I like the high school part of the character. Like, I like seeing all that stuff and like him trying to fit in. And
is he sophomore year?
He's sophomore, yeah.
All right, so that gives him some time. Yeah,
so, I mean, if they do the next 3 movies are in high school and they're just...
Spider-Man Summer Break.
Then again, like, that's another weird timeline shifting thing. Like, I would like for it to be sophomore, junior, senior year of high school, like the next 3 movies. I would love to do that. But there's so much stuff I loved about him being in high school. I loved how he stashed the shit underneath his locker, that he lifted the locker up to grab his stuff underneath it. I love all the high school characters were great.
I liked that he and his best friend, like, he was as excited to go out and do Spider-Man stuff as he was to go and play Legos.
Yeah.
Like, there was an equal amount of, like, it's like, oh, I got the desk. It's like, you know, you can also, like, climb up walls and shoot spider webs, right?
Yeah,
but Legos, though.
I love that stuff. And the whole cast of, like, the young high school cast was great. Zendaya as Michelle. We'll talk a little bit more about her a little later. Liz, his crush. Liz Allen. Ned, his best friend. You have Flash Thompson, who's not the typical Flash Thompson we're used to seeing in the movies. Like the Joe Manganiello shoving him into a locker and shit like that. But, like, he's still a dick. Yeah. He was still
he needs to get put through a wall.
There's like so many like cool little things, like the news. Like they show the school news or whatever, and Betty Brant is one of the anchors. And there's that great thing, like he's like, "Do you have a date to the you have a date to the dance yet? She's like, yeah, someone's already asked me. And then it cuts to the guy, like a shot of that guy's face, just all sad. That made me laugh so hard. Yeah, there's even little Abe. You probably. He's the student that was part of the academic decathlon thing that would always ring the bell.
Yeah. What did I tell you about?
Flash is wrong.
What did I tell you about using that bell for comedic timing?
Yeah, Martin Starr is great as that teacher. Hannibal Buress was hilarious as the gym teacher, just with playing the Captain America videos and stuff, and standing
Captain
on the
America
wrong
videos
side.
Were pretty great.
They were like that, and that's one of those things like that makes so much sense. Like he's a celebrity in that world, and like they would get him to do things like that. Now. Yeah, I think he's a war criminal now. That was great. That was probably one of the best lines in the movie. He's like, my friend, your gym teacher over here, and he's standing on the wrong side of the TV. Or then later when he's in detention, he's like, so you got yourself in detention. It was every time the Captain America videos were used, they were used so well. I like
that he did the chair, and he took the chair and turned it like backwards to sit on it like cool kids.
Yes. Like that's the general sign of I'm gonna relate to you right now.
I'm gonna get real with the kids.
Yeah. God, it was so well utilized, like his cameo in this movie. So yeah, and so that's the high school, but then we see like the after school part of it, like him going out there and just being like the after school hero kind of thing. I love that stuff. Just the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man stuff. Like that's what I love about that character. Because he more than anybody can kind of play in both worlds. Yeah. Like he can play in the Avengers big leagues and stuff, but can also play in the same sandboxes like the.
And I like that he messed up a little
Marvel
bit
Netflix
with like he thought someone was breaking into a car.
Yeah,
it was just like this is
my car. Yeah,
everyone's yelling at him. Yeah, that's my Spider-Man.
Yeah, just the world's always shitting on him. That's Spider-Man, man. Yeah. Like they nailed that part of it. He's not crying the whole time about it.
No,
but it's still like, yeah, my life sucks sometimes.
I still haven't seen it, and I really want to, like, with the Stan Lee cameo, where, like, I wanted someone to try to mug him, and then Spider-Man swoops in.
Yeah, I
want that.
You want someone to say, like, a hero to save Stan Lee from getting mugged? Yeah.
What if they do that in the Avengers, where, like, they all show up?
Yeah. That would be awesome. It's like, oh, you want my wallet, do you? Or like if it's a thing where like they're trying to mug Stan Lee, and Stan Lee like kind of like perks up and is like, oh, you want to mug me, and like that stuff, and all the Avengers are standing behind him,
and the dude runs off.
And he's like, yeah, you better run.
Awesome.
We wrote it. We wrote the next cameo.
Just do it.
All right, so the churro thing. Some lady bought me a churro. I just love that. Like he's adorable, this kid. It's just exactly what I've always wanted Spider-Man to be. There's little things that they don't have in there. Like, I didn't even notice this. I didn't even think about it when I was watching the movie. But
Spider sense?
Spider sense, yeah. No spider sense.
I read, like, a little thing. It's like, just didn't really need it.
Yeah.
And, like, some of the other sequences in the other movies, like, they already did it.
Yeah.
So, and the guy was like, we'll get to it.
Yeah, they can use it and like, his powers aren't really genetic or anything. They were caused by the spider bite, but I mean, can't he kind of come into some of them as he grows and stuff like that?
Yeah, save something for later.
Because, like, the argument is he doesn't have it because in Civil War, he didn't know that Ant-Man was on the shield. Yeah. And Ant-Man kind of got the sucker punch in there.
I mean, but how sensitive is that spider sense?
Yeah.
Like, every 2 seconds it's going off?
I mean, it's pretty much, like... Yeah, you're right. Like, I'm cool with him getting to it. Like, get to it and use it, but make it be important in that moment. All right, so let's talk about the villains real quick, because there's a lot of villains.
Nah.
We talked about Vulture. Michael Keaton. I really like this villain. Like,
I would say, as far as Marvel villains goes, I would put him and Zemo.
Yeah, which not everyone liked Zemo, but we did.
Really? Dude, he beat the Avengers without throwing a punch.
Yeah.
I mean, how much better do you need to be? I
like him a lot, too, yeah. I want him to come back.
He beat him without throwing a punch.
Yeah.
How much better do you need to be?
Yeah.
Gosh.
He was a genius, this dude.
Yeah.
And he had a legit, like, beef with them.
Right.
Like, his storyline was heartbreaking. And, like, I mean, that's where, like, in this case, like, Michael Keaton, his like, motivation is not quite on that level where he blames them for killing his family and stuff. But I mean, still, like, these people show up and like take his job away from him, and because Iron Man, Tony Stark, everyone in the world knows Tony Stark is Iron Man, he sees them as the bad guys.
And I like that, like, I feel like people forget, like, at the end of Civil War, like, Zemo was gonna shoot himself in the head.
Yeah.
And like I just watched it again the other night, so it's like fresh.
Yeah.
Like that scene where Black Panther's like talking to him.
Yeah.
Like that's a really good scene.
It is. I love that
really
scene.
like the Black Panther being like, I'm not gonna let vengeance consume me any longer.
Yeah.
And the claws go back.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's
so
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Vulture was great. Like, he was so good in this movie, and we'll get to some of the other stuff that happened in the movie a little later, but
like, you forget, like, the costume doesn't look like in that doesn't.
Yeah, like,
once you get involved in his character, you're like, you don't need it. It's like Daredevil. Like,
yeah,
you don't need it.
Well, look, when it was announced that he was going to be the Vulture, I pictured Birdman. Like, that's what I pictured, and that wouldn't have worked.
No.
And I never thought
that
the Vulture. Yeah, I never thought that the way the Vulture looked in the comic would work.
Right.
So I didn't want that.
Right.
But when I started seeing stuff in this movie, I didn't know if I liked it and stuff. And after seeing how it worked in the movie, and how he would come down in that thing, and then the thing would open, and he would step, like, you know, it's kind of like an Iron Man like thing almost. But he has that bomber jacket, looks awesome, and that helmet thing, and like, yeah, I dug it. Like, I was really into that.
Because, like, I don't know how it was in the comics, but in, like, the old Spider-Man cartoon, like, he was just, like, an old dude, and, like, he would, like, take your youth or something.
Yeah.
I was like, that wouldn't have worked in this.
No, I'm glad, yeah. Like,
or maybe it could have, but I just, like, I was happy with what they did with him.
And that's what I always pictured, like, you know, when there were rumors that they were going to do a Spider-Man 4 after that, and the idea was that Vulture was going to be the villain, and that Black Cat was going to be a part of it, and all that stuff, and yeah.
I like that they took, like, one of his smaller villains and made him, like, a big threat.
Yeah. Well, he's not even a huge threat or anything. What he wants is not like one of these...
Right.
It's not like all the other superhero movies where it's like an end-of-the-world scenario. Well,
I think what I meant was a worthy adversary.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. I was just pointing that out because that was one of the things that I liked so much about the movie. And we talked about it in our review and everything. But yeah, it wasn't a huge end of the world thing. It wasn't.
I like that a lot. I like that it was a giant beam shooting up into the sky.
Yeah.
It was just like
a wormhole of aliens opening up and everyone just pouring out there. It wasn't a.
That's what you want for an robots. Avengers movie.
Yeah.
You don't want that for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Giant ring in the sky has its place.
Yeah. Not in Suicide Squad, but.
Superman needs to smile. All right.
All right, so let's talk about some of the other villains. The Shockers.
Which one?
There's two of them. Yep. I thought that was interesting how they had two. They had one that was real...
I didn't know that there was multiple.
Well, in the movie it is. I mean, I always just knew of the one from the comics, but I don't know if there were multiple ones. But I mean, as far as me, I mostly know like the earlier years of Spider-Man. I don't know the whole history of the character. So that's why I always gravitate towards the, you know, Spider-Man being a young guy in high school and everything.
What if they did... So I know that Eddie Brock doesn't necessarily need to be, like, the same age. Or if they just had Tom Hardy, like, he's in high school.
In high school?
They try to shoehorn that in.
He's on the school paper?
Yeah. 11th grade sure is tough, eh, Peter?
They do like a...
He's got like a full beard.
It's like a Muppet Babies version of Spider-Man where everyone's in high school.
Yeah.
Like J. Jonah Jameson is in high school and it's still... Awesome. He's the editor of the school paper.
Might not hate that.
And it's still J.K. Simmons.
What if they did a younger J. Jonah Jameson? Like he's like kind of a...
I want J. Jonah Jameson to be part of this world, obviously. I want everything that makes the comic book world so awesome and interesting to be part of this version of it now, because they finally nailed it.
Right.
So I like to see them kind of roll out a little more.
It seems like what they're doing is they're taking their time with each little piece of it. Like, you don't need to jump in and get everything all at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is what they kind of were trying to do with Amazing Spider-Man, but it just didn't work out. Like, they were trying to roll it out slowly. It didn't work out. Yeah.
Like, I don't need the untold origin.
Yeah. Now, here's interesting.
I don't need the told origin.
I was gonna hold off until a little later, but you know, since we're talking about this topic, they sell off the Avengers Tower in this movie. They're moving out of it. Who do you think's going to buy that?
Kingpin?
I don't know about Kingpin. That'd be
interesting. That rich?
I don't know if he's that rich. Like, I don't know if he's Tony Stark, Norman Osborn rich, but...
What if we did this podcast with, like, talk with our heads up our asses? Like, Bruce Wayne's going to buy it, right?
Yeah. Like, we think we're in the know of the Nerdiverse. And we're just all just talking about shit we don't know about. It's like, I think Bruce Wayne could buy it. Yeah. Ooh, what if Bruce Wayne bought it?
Spawn should buy it.
Yeah. Spawn's loaded. We all know this. He lives in a fucking alley.
Do you have things on who should buy it or who might buy it?
Well, just ideas that I was thinking about. Like the two big ones would be
Black Panther. He's rich enough.
No, like either Oscorp could buy it, and that could be like the new Oscorp Tower kind of thing.
That's one.
Like, remember the rumor that they were going to try to put the Oscorp in the background of the Avengers?
I thought it was Daily Bugle.
Or something like that. I thought it was Oscorp.
Okay.
But Daily Bugle could be the other one. What if the Daily Bugle buys that? They're like
Daily Bugle buying the Avengers Tower?
Just like as their new headquarters, they move everything over there. Like I
don't know, dude. Newspapers don't make that much money anymore.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
That's a huge place to buy.
Yeah. I wish that they should just use the same building that they used in the Raimi movies, because that building
it's just so iconic.
Looks like the Daily Bugle. I mean, they used that building in Avengers, I believe.
Like, I visited New York a couple times.
Yeah.
I passed that building.
Yeah.
And I only think of it as the Daily Bugle.
You pass it and you just hear, Parker!
Parker! Where are you? I called you twice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. But Oscorp, I do see that. I was leaning more towards Oscorp anyway. But I mean, that would establish more of this, the track record they set in this movie with all the villains kind of, like, usually in the Spider-Man universe, and as we saw in the other movies and stuff, or I mean the Amazing Spider-Man movies, what they were trying to do, but in the Ultimate Spider-Man universe and stuff like that, Oscorp is kind of like the hub where all the kind of villains come from, really, and they could kind of do that in this world too. But right now, all the villains are kind of coming from, like, the aftermath of the Avengers and the Chitauri weapons and using that stuff. If, say, the Tinkerer gets involved at Oscorp and he starts working there and stuff like that, and, like, you can introduce some other characters like Kurt Connors and, obviously Norman Osborn and any of the Osborn family and stuff like that. But also, like, Doc Ock, you could have them being people that work for Oscorp and stuff. But yeah, like, I liked how they did use the villains and stuff in this. Like, Tinkerer was really cool.
Spider-Man 2, if it's not one singular villain, like, what couple of them?
I mean, we kind of talked about this in the last episode.
I can't remember which ones that we...
I mean, we pretty much listed every Spider-Man villain we could think of.
We just want to see all of them.
I mean, really, but yeah, like, I'll say it again, like, what I want to see is, I just always wanted to see Kraven and Mysterio. Like, I don't know how to tie that into what they're doing, but those are the characters that I wanted to see. Kraven, and to an extent, like, Chameleon can tie into Kraven because they're brothers and stuff like that. I don't know how you tie that all into what I'm talking about here, but they've been talking, they want to introduce villains that we haven't seen yet. Hence the Vulture and Shockers and Tinker and all that stuff. I do want to see Donald Glover again. They introduced him in this movie, and in one of the scenes where, like, he's using the suit and to, like, scan the people and try to see if he can recognize any of them. It says his name was Alex. I can't remember the character's actual name. But anyway, it says the name, and then it says AKA the Prowler or whatever. So they established that he's the Prowler in this movie universe. And at one point, he does mention he's got a nephew that lives in this neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. So Miles Morales exists in the MCU. I want to see Miles Morales show up someday in these movies and stuff. So the part of the movie that in my review I talked about, it kind of lagged a little bit for me. The part of the movie where it kind of did that is the whole trip to DC, and when they went to the whole academic decathlon thing. He's not going to show up for it.
I like that part a lot.
Yeah.
Because I like him not being able to do the normal things that he wants to.
Yeah, no, that stuff I like and everything. But, like, that part of the movie is where... Because, like, everything was in New York and everything was going on with his lives. And he's trying to, track down these guys or whatever. And then he ends up going out of state. And it just, like, kind of took... It felt like it... I mean, I know he went to follow them.
Yeah.
but it kind of just seemed to me like it was just too much going on at once and stuff. But like I liked everything that happened. It was just during that part of the movie it kind of dragged a little bit for me. And
I don't know, man. Your opinion's wrong though.
Yeah. Well, really, it's the thing when he gets trapped in the.
You didn't like that?
I mean, it was like I said, it was fun, but like, I mean, let's go, let's get moving.
I don't
know.
Like, I liked it because he's just like kind of just dicking around there. Yeah. What you think is like all night, and he's like, "How long have I been in here?" It's like 37 minutes. Like, God.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like I said, this stuff was funny, but it was like, at that point in the movie, I just wanted to keep things moving and stuff.
I don't know. It didn't bother me as much.
Yeah. I mean, I did like, he's talking to Karen, his AI or whatever, who I was trying to figure out who she played in the movie. Jennifer Connelly was the voice of Karen.
And that Vision's wife?
In real life, she's married to Paul Bettany, so Karen cute. In Vision, I thought that was interesting.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that stuff, I kind of wanted, I thought we'd see him show up at the end and save the day or whatever, but he didn't. Like, as far as, like, at the decathlon, Michelle's the one that...
Sometimes you can't make it.
Won it for them, yeah. But then I also, I was, expecting to see them, kick him off the team, or... There was really no, no fallout for him not making it, and not enough, explanation of where he was.
Well, he let Liz down.
Well, yeah, I know that, but she still went to homecoming with him.
Barely.
Well, yeah. Before we get to the homecoming dance and everything, there's that great, Staten Island ferry scene.
Yeah.
That scene is great. We meet the Scorpion.
Yeah.
Matt Gargan, who... I love Michael Mando, the guy that plays that character.
Okay.
He is... I first saw him... I guess technically I first saw him as the main villain in Far Cry 3.
Okay.
Those games are fun, and he's the villain in that, and, it looks just like him and everything. And he just plays a great psychotic, villain in that thing. And so, that was when I first saw him. Then I saw him in... Orphan Black. He's he played in everything he's in. He's a different character and stuff. Orphan Black. He's just a complete scumbag, ex-boyfriend of the main girl. And then not Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul. He's great in Better Call Saul. There's this dude named, you don't watch any of Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul or anything, but there's this gang leader, Tuco, drug dealer guy. He's the one that's unstable and nuts, whereas this guy Michael Mando is the great he's the calm one. He's the smart one. He's the one that thinks things through and stuff. I just love his character and how he plays a great counterpart to that stuff. So I'm really excited that he was Matt Gargan in this movie. And I'm thinking we're going to see Scorpion as the villain in the next movie. Just the way they kind of set this up.
I would like to see him, in addition to...
No, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't just be Scorpion. I would like to see kind of what they did here. If he's the Vulture of the next movie, and you have other, characters we had Shocker and Tinkerer and stuff like that. I mean, I imagine Tinkerer sticks around to be the Tony Stark of the bad guys in this world. But you have Scorpion in there. You could probably use Shocker as a throwaway character, kind of how they use Scarecrow in the Nolan trilogy.
Would you do Rhino?
I think they burned that bridge, man.
I don't know. I like that character.
I like the character too. But he's very limited in what you can do with him.
Well,
that's why the way they used him on paper in Amazing Spider-Man was exactly what I wanted them to do.
Yeah, that's what I want them to do. Have him just beat the shit out of him real quick and then get on with it.
Yeah. But they've already done that with him, so I don't know what they would do with him if they revisit him. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think pretty sure we're going to see Scorpion as
John Cena to play the Rhino
villain in the next one. All right. But yeah, I like that scene, this Staten Island ferry scene, and that dude's like, "Yeah, Spider-Man."
I like that guy.
And then when Iron Man shows up, he's like, "Yeah, Iron Man."
I think as an actor, that'd be the most fun.
Yeah. Iron Man takes the suit from him and stuff.
Yeah.
Which that's when in the movie you won't hate Tony Stark and everything.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tony, all of the things are your fault.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you should be getting all high and mighty all of a sudden. I mean, he does kind of...
He was dad pissed at him, too.
Yeah.
He was an angry father there.
He's all right, bro. How about you without the suit? Are you in... You get your ass beat. Asshole, you're nothing without the suit.
But I mean, I needed that in this movie.
What?
As far as like, I liked, because one of the problems I had with it is I don't like Spider-Man in a super high-tech suit. Like, I don't care for that. Like, Spider-Man is a hero because he finds, like, deep down within him the strength to do whatever it is that he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, taking that all away from him, I liked that they relied on that. I just wish that he was in the suit as far as the way it looks, because that's what Spider-Man is to me. That's what he looks like. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was interesting the way they did all that stuff.
I liked his homemade costume, actually.
Yeah. No, I didn't dislike it.
Because it makes more sense than the Andrew Garfield one.
Yeah, no. I don't dislike that. I'm saying it is weird starting off with the high-tech suit and then going back to that. Mm-hmm. But we never really got to see him in that suit other than like in Civil War and like a little quick video. Which he was watching in this movie that I thought was interesting. In the trailers, when he's in science class and he's watching on the thing, it looked like he was watching Civil War. In the trailers, he was watching the footage from Civil War. And in this, he was just watching that old YouTube footage.
Well, what are you going to do?
Because the way I read it in the movie, or in the trailers, was that like he's back in school now, but he's like thinking about, just this weekend or whatever, I was like on the same playing field as the Avengers. Now I'm stuck in science class, and it was like him reflecting on that. Whereas in this, it was kind of odd than just reflecting. That's
probably a marketing thing.
No, yeah,
like,
but
hey, people that don't know that these are connected. He was in this other thing.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I just think I kind of liked that better. Like, the idea of him looking, like, remembering how awesome he was that weekend. Mm-hmm. But, okay, so let's get to the whole homecoming thing. As the title suggests, there's a homecoming dance in this one. Mm-hmm. It's an 80s themed dance and everything, of course. Harkening back to, like, this is like a homage to all the, like, the 80s teen movies and, like, all the John Hughes type films and stuff. So he asks Liz, there's no fallout there as far as like, hey, asshole, where the hell were you while we won this damn trophy? You just fucked off. I don't know. It just didn't, I felt like there should have been some like negative consequences for that. But, like if he asked her before that to the dance and she said yes, and then he didn't show up at the thing, and then she, then she was pissed and didn't want to go with him anymore or whatever, and they kind of worked it that way. But, I don't know. The way they did this part of it, the whole him going with her, was great because they get to that reveal. He goes to pick her up, knocks on the door. Michael Keaton answers the door.
At first, I thought, like, oh, he found out who he was, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't click with me that, like, oh, he's Liz's dad.
Yeah.
Like, at first I was like, oh, no, he found out who Spider-Man was somehow. But then, like, later on, I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. How would he be able to?
Yeah.
And then they show you.
Yeah. See, what I found was interesting, there was a rumor that, and this just goes to show why you don't believe all the rumors you read on the internet. There was a rumor, and it seemed legit because people were claiming it came from one of the young adult, like, novelizations of the film. And they said, they called Michelle Toombs. Uh-huh. So I thought he was her father.
Oh, okay.
And so I was still trying to figure that out, because when it happened in the movie, he's there, and then I thought back to, remember the party scene. Mm-hmm. There's a scene where he goes to the party at Liz's house, and Michelle's there, and she's just hanging out, and she's like eating or whatever in the kitchen, and he's like, they're like, why are you here? And she's like, why wouldn't I be here? I thought her dad was Vulture, and he married Liz's mom, and that's how they all like kind of, and so I thought they were like stepsisters, Michelle and Liz. But that's not what they did with it and everything. But so I was trying to piece that together as I was watching it. And I thought that was like, that scene, because I even thought about it early on, because she felt like, because she's always just cool and like, whatever, like, so blasé about everything. I thought she was like, oh, I live here kind of thing. But like, why wouldn't I be here? Sort of thing. So I thought that was going to be the thing they reveal with her character, is that she lives there, whatever. But, or like there's a party going on and she doesn't even give a shit. She's just like, I came to get something to eat in the kitchen. I was going to go back to my room. So yeah, they get there, reveals that he's the father. And this is one of the scenes this scene reminded me of the scene in the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
The Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where They're having Thanksgiving dinner, and
it's really tense.
Green Goblin and Spider-Man are sitting there at the table having Thanksgiving dinner. It's one of those great things, and so he knows who the Vulture is. So he sees him and he recognizes him immediately. So he's tense, but it also plays as that, like, you know, the young date is scared of the father of the girl or whatever, and so that was such a fun scene. As we see this scene play out, we see him figure it out. Like, Liz runs her mouth.
Liz would not shut up.
Yeah, she's like, he's friends with Spider-Man.
Oh, you know what? I don't think I've ever seen you and Spider-Man in the same place at the same time. It's like, shut up.
Shut the fuck up. You're the Vulture. and then just, yeah, so that tense ass car ride, it was so well done.
Really tense.
That whole sequence, and then they get to the dance. He's like, I'm gonna have the
I really liked that he pulled out a gun.
Yeah. It was like he could still not know he's Spider-Man in this scene. Oh man, I that was like probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah,
just that whole sequence, and they weren't in costumes or anything like that. It was just such a great performances by both of them and everything. It was awesome. And it was that shot from the trailers of him just like turning around in the car seat. Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's where that came from. It was great. Such a great scene. I really wanted to see the movie again. I just didn't get a chance to go see it again.
Yeah, I want to see it again too.
Before we did our spoiler review. But next, he goes to Homecoming. He tells him, what does he tell him to do? To just go in there and dance? And
he kind of tells him, he literally kind of tells him just to piss off. Like, you can date my daughter, but if you interfere with my vulturing...
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and kill you.
I'm gonna kill you and everybody you love,
and your girlfriend,
which happens to be my maybe not your girlfriend.
It's real conflicting.
Get a new girlfriend, and then I'm gonna kill her. Yeah, that stuff was great, and then of course, Peter goes into the dance.
It had a scene that I really like. It's like a not stereotypical. But, like, the shot of, like, the hero running and, like, doing the shirt.
Oh, yeah, the iconic,
yeah, like... That's it, yeah. Like, he did that down the hallway to, like, go change. I really like... I don't know why I always really like that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's classic superhero. That's superhero 101.
I gotta run down this hallway.
Yeah.
And take off the thing.
Yeah.
And do Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah. But he has that shitty costume. Which, don't get me wrong, I love that costume. I think it looks great. It's perfect for what he would make for himself.
Yeah, it makes more sense that that's what he would make rather than in Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, like in Sam Raimi's movies, he made that thing.
I don't know how he would.
Well, no. I mean that first one he made when he went to the wrestling match.
Right. But then he
ended up making the one that he drew.
Super Awesome Time one.
Yeah, that never makes sense. Like, this at least makes sense why he would get that, but for me, it's just too high tech. Like, if it was just the cloth version of that, or whatever material it is, if it's just that without all the bells and whistles and stuff, that's what I want him to be wearing. I don't care if the eyes move or whatever. He could have the little webbing under the arms when he needs it. Stuff like that. The slots for the web cartridges. I like it did show him making the web cartridges in science class. I love that, because that's like, also one of his superpowers. He's super smart.
Yeah.
And,
wicked smart.
He wicked smart, and he made that shit himself. Which is something I didn't like in the Amazing Spider-Man movie. He found that shit, didn't he?
He found it?
Didn't he steal the web fluid from Oscorp?
I don't think so.
In Amazing Spider-Man?
I don't remember. It's been a while.
I remember having a little cartridge and it said Oscorp.
I don't remember. You could be right. I don't know.
No, that's what they were using the spiders for. In that thing, they were making They were using it for, like, the strength.
For whatever reason, he needed to touch it.
Yeah. Stupid.
Why are you doing that?
I'm glad we didn't have to see that whole ordeal again of him getting bitten by the spider and him getting all sweaty.
I won't mind it in the future, like in a quick flashback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
won't mind it. He's sitting around, I don't know why, a campfire, but he's sitting around a campfire with the other Avengers, and he's like, oh, so how did you get powers, kid? He's like, I got bit by a spider. And it just, like, kind of flashes back, shows a little thing. I wouldn't mind that.
So that's the scene that you're going to write?
Yeah.
Sitting around a campfire?
Yeah, that's one of his scenes in, like, his limited screen time in Infinity War. They're sitting around a campfire on an alien planet. He's telling the story of how he got bit by a bug.
I got bit by a bug.
A bug bit me and I got spider powers.
I was trying to mind my own business.
All right, so So he leaves. He runs off.
Tony got bit by a radioactive flat iron.
He lifts up the lockers and gets his stuff, whatever. And then he goes out and then he gets sucker punched by the shocker. He's like, he told you to just stay in there. So my question is, did he have the mask on at that point when he walked out there? Does Shocker know who he is? I can't remember now. I was thinking about this the other day and I can't remember. Did he have the mask?
I don't think he had the mask on.
I mean, he must have. Vulture must have called Shocker, and Shocker must have got his ass over there. Well, but because he dropped him off at the dance.
You know what bugged me a little bit?
And then he went in, and then he immediately left.
That the Shocker only had one thing, one arm.
Oh yeah, he did,
blast.
Didn't he? Yeah.
I was like, just get the other one. Just hurry up. I just want you to have both.
like Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Just got the one glowy fist.
It's like it's not as threatening.
Yeah, but I did like that scene, just him having a little showdown with the Shocker. It's like their only real. It's really their only like kind of altercation, isn't it? I mean, he chases after them in the van that one time and stuff like that. But this is their first like real fight.
And Ned saves him.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, that was awesome. He got to be the hero for a second, and then he became the man in the chair.
Yep,
that was fun. She was like, "What are you doing in here?" He's like, "I'm looking at porn."
Like, what else are you gonna say?
Yeah, I know. I mean, maybe come up with something else, but like that might be worse. Looking at porn in the school library.
I think that's because like he assumes that's what she would assume he's doing.
Yeah, I know. It was great. It was hilarious. So yeah, he goes and he has that confrontation with the Vulture in the warehouse and everything, and that was a great scene. But the best part of it, he sends the wings out there and he just starts chopping all the pillars down, and it all collapses on top of him and everything. And then there's that great homage to the comics. I think I read it, and I didn't write it down, damn it. But I think it was Amazing Spider-Man issue 33, maybe? Basically, Doc Ock has Aunt May somewhere, or he's going to hurt Aunt May or something. And Peter gets trapped in the sewers and just buried underneath all this rubble and everything. And he has to find the strength within himself to lift up all of this rubble off of him to go save Aunt May because everyone's counting on him.
It's a pretty like iconic image.
Yeah, yeah. And that I loved that they paid homage to that.
33.
It is okay.
Yep.
In this movie, they paid homage to such an iconic Spider-Man moment because I think about that moment all the time. Like when I'm thinking about just iconic Spider-Man moments. And they did that cool shot where like his mask is in the puddle and it like reflected and it's kind of...
I cried during that part.
Yeah.
Where he's screaming for help and then he realizes no one's coming.
Oh, that part was just he's just like in that moment he's just a little kid.
Yeah.
He's just like help, and I was like, oh fuck.
Iron Man's not coming. You don't got that tech suit.
Yeah. He's just.
And then he has to do it himself.
Yeah.
And when he's saying, "Come on, Spider-Man," I'm in the theater going, "You can do it, Spider."
Come on, Spider-Man.
Like I'm 31.
Yep.
Oh well.
That's what these funny book characters do to us
funny
nerds.
Books. Yep.
So Vulture goes off after the the Quinjet or whatever.
And Spider-Man dies under the rubble.
Yeah.
Right?
Spider-Man runs out of air and dies.
God.
He perishes. Happy Hogan has to fight Vulture off.
It's not bad. I'd see a Happy Hogan movie.
But yeah, so they're like as we were saying earlier, they're moving out of Avengers Tower, moving everything upstate to the new Avengers Mansion. I guess that's the Avengers Mansion.
Whatever.
So yeah, he follows him, and they have that fight in the air on the as he's trying to steal all this shit from the plane and everything. Plane was fully automated. There's no one in that plane.
The way that they did the camouflage type thing.
Yeah.
On the plane, that's what I would assume that they would do for the invisible jet for Wonder Woman when she gets to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be. They can just be like super camouflage time.
Shit, maybe Batman makes her the invisible jet.
That's what I was thinking. Because like if she can't fly, then it would just make sense for Bruce Wayne to kind of.
Yeah.
Hey, I built you a jet, so you can just kind of.
You be like me. You be like me. Twinsies.
She's like, ew.
Yeah.
This is gross.
So yeah, they have that great final fight and everything.
That in the movie now.
Yeah, they have that final fight and they crash on the beach out there.
That was a good fight.
Yeah, that was a fun.
Because Spider-Man could lose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He can't fly.
Right.
Yeah, and all that stuff was great, and they eventually like crash and everything, and he's trying to steal like that box of whatever it was. He's just trying to get away with what little shit he could get away with. And he's trying to warn him, and I thought he was dead. I thought Vulture was gonna die because of his own hubris, like fall and everything.
I'm glad he's alive.
Me too.
Because I always hate when they kill off a villain. Well, like just put him in jail so we can.
Yeah.
Just the idea or the threat of him coming back later is always fun.
Even if we don't see him again, that's what I prefer in these movies. That's why I've always hated when they killed off the villains in these movies. Like I was so pissed. Like. I love The Dark Knight, but they did the one thing I love that they did, they kept the Joker alive in that one, but then they killed off Two-Face. I'm like, he just became Two-Face.
But then what would he do after that if he was alive? Really?
I don't give a shit. Like the third movie, like I know everyone loves those movies. The third one was such a letdown for me, and like
it makes sense.
It kind of started at the tail end of but it kind of bummed me out. Like it kind of started to bum me out at the tail end of The Dark Knight with the whole Two-Face dying, and then Batman taking the fall for all that shit, and falling and breaking his leg or whatever, and just I never liked that ending. Like it was I love The Dark Knight. But that little bit at the very end of The Dark Knight bummed me out.
Yeah.
I never liked that. And but yeah, so the Vulture lives in this one. I love that thing. The bad guy, I mean, some of the bad guys can die. I'm okay with certain villains dying. Like I don't need to see that guy again. But like when it comes to some of these iconic characters, I liked him in the movie because I liked the actor, but I don't think we ever need to see Caecilius again from Doctor Strange.
No, he is dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's dead.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need to see that guy again. But if it was, like, someone like Baron Mordo or somebody like that, I would be pissed off. Because, like, those are characters that, like if Loki had died at the end of, like, the Avengers or something, you know? Like, there's certain characters that you keep around because they can always, like, come back. Like, Red Skull, I'd want to see Red Skull come back. And things like that.
They might have a Red Skull come back. I doubt that they're going to use the same actor, though.
I don't think he wants to do it again, but they should bring him back because you don't really need the same actor. He was great.
Yeah.
Hugo Weaving's a great actor, but yeah, you could have someone else play the Red Skull and have him come back. I mean, they did things in the comics where it was like the Red Skull's like brain or something was in someone else's body or something along those lines. They could do something like that. But anyway, so the Vulture lives and he ties him up and leaves the note. I always love that thing that Spider-Man does. He loves to do that. And, yeah, it was, like, that was perfect right there. So, in the end, like, Tony Stark gives him his suit back. And I think I was wrong. Remember when we were walking out and I just guess I was hoping, because, you know, in the movie, you see him get the suit at the beginning, and it's in this crazy case and everything. And then when he gets back, it's just when he gets back home after that whole ordeal or whatever, at the movie, he comes home from school, and it's the costume.
He's brown bagging it.
Yeah, brown bag. Oh, well, before that, he goes to the bath, like, he gets texted, like, he's meeting with the academic
with Happy
Batalon.
Hogan.
Yeah, and, like, I was like, why is he still part of this? Like, he bailed on them, and they're still letting him be a part of it. And then, when Liz had to leave, like, they were gonna appoint a new captain or whatever, and I was like, if they say Peter's the captain, that's gonna be some bullshit. And, like, because it would make no sense, but, like, just seeing every movie ever, just knowing how movies go, like the hero becomes the captain of the team or whatever, some shit. But they made Michelle the captain, which is great. She does the whole thing where she's like, my friends call me MJ, which I was like, oh, so she is Mary? She's not Mary Jane.
I read that.
Yeah, so they basically said they thought it was a nice nod to...
like another thing that we're not there yet.
Yeah. Which I'm fine with him not being there yet, but it's just why do the MJ thing? It's to me it was like finding out that she's not Mary Jane, and they did the MJ thing. It's like, well, really, you're just confusing things, because not everyone's gonna read the trades and know that she's not Mary Jane. People are gonna assume she's Mary Jane now, and B, like, it's just like the same thing as the Dark Knight Rises for me. He's not fucking Robin because his name is Robin.
Yeah, God, that bothers me. Though.
Yeah, she's not MJ. She's not Mary Jane because her friends call her MJ.
All they had to do is have that lady say, "Here you go, Mr. Grayson."
Yeah.
Or Terry McGinnis. Either way.
Yeah.
I'd be alright with either way.
Yeah. But no. Robin. So stupid. And just same thing with this.
She might as well have winked into the camera.
She's like, my friends call me MJ. Wink. And then just the iris closes in on her face. Yeah, that was kind of dumb. That was one thing that kind of bugged me a little bit because I was like, she didn't need to be Mary Jane either because I liked her character.
Yeah.
And she's an original character. She's not Mary Jane, so the MJ thing is just unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. Or the other way, why not just make her Mary Jane?
Yeah, if you're gonna bother to do the whole thing, wink and a nod and all that, just make her Mary Jane.
Yeah. Stupid.
I hate this movie. No, but yeah. So he goes off. He leaves. He gets called away. He goes to the bathroom. Meets Happy Hogan in the bathroom.
There's one kid still in the bathroom.
I love that kid. That kid was awesome. He just kind of comes out of the bathroom and just like, doesn't he wash his hands and then just walk out? And he's just kind of staring at him as he's walking out. That was...
Because it is weird.
It is, yeah, it's weird.
But if you don't know...
why a grown man is meeting you.
If you're not privy to that relationship...
Yeah.
Then it is very suspicious.
Yeah. I just thought that was...
He should not be in there.
That kid was my MVP for the movie. Just the way he stares at him as he's walking out. He was great. So yeah, and then he... Oh, then no, he goes off and meets Tony and everything at the thing, and then he shows him that suit. What did you think about that scene?
I like that scene.
Yeah, I liked a lot of that scene.
I feel like that suit is meant for space.
I think that's the suit he's going to wear in Infinity War, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how I feel about the suit.
Yeah, doesn't bother me.
Like, okay. I love the suit that he has in the movie, but as I said, I'm not a big fan of the high-tech nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are instances where Spider-Man needs a high-tech suit of that type and stuff. So, like, just the whole, like, I don't know. I didn't need to see it. Like... Is that what you thought it was going to... I mean, when it opened up, what did you think it was going to be?
The Iron Spider?
Me too. And if they did that, I would have loved that.
Mm-hmm.
But this suit didn't mean anything.
Did it look like the Miles Morales suit?
To me, it didn't.
No?
To me, it just kind of looked like something new.
Is there a picture of it online?
I don't know. You can look and see if you can find it. I haven't looked for it. But to me, it looked like blue and like it was really shiny and it had a big Spider-Man... The Spider-Man logo was really big, and it kind of reminded me... The way the logo kind of looked, how it was really big, it kind of reminded me of like the PlayStation game that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
How that has a big, giant, white spider on it. But I don't know, it didn't really mean anything. If it was... I mean, I guess that's kind of what the Iron Spider costume looks like. With the big spider on it. But I don't know. It didn't mean anything. It should have just been the Iron Spider suit. But I liked how he turned him down. He turned him down on being an Avenger and everything. He said he wasn't ready yet, and I like that. Like, I'm glad he's not joining up with that yet. I mean, he's going to in the next movie he's in, Avengers: Infinity War. But it felt right for the character in that moment for him to turn him down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I knew he would.
Yeah. But then, he says about the whole, there's a room full of reporters. And then, as he's walking away, he says, that was a test, wasn't it? There's no room full of reporters back there.
Like, yeah,
you're right. And then he walks away, and then they open the door, and you just see all the reporters in there. And Gwyneth Paltrow comes back as Pepper Potts. That was nice. That was a nice little cameo, because I like, the way they left her off was kind of shitty. The way they left that character.
You think
things
so?
with that character. Well... Iron Man 3 was the last time we saw her, isn't it?
Yeah.
She wasn't in Age of Ultron.
They talked about her.
And then in Civil War, they revealed that they just broke up. Like, off
I like
camera.
That was a nice...
I mean, yeah, it worked for the character at the time, but, like, we established this relationship over all these movies and stuff, you want to see... Like, I kind of feel like she's his Lois Lane, But anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Gwyneth Paltrow fan or anything. I just, when they establish characters in these universes, I like to see them be those characters and stuff like that. So I appreciated the cameo of her in there. And so, yeah, they really did cover a lot of ground for Iron Man as well in this movie, but he wasn't
in it as much as I thought he would be. which is good.
Yeah, he was in it the right amount.
I was a little bit worried. I was like, oh, is he going to be in there the whole time?
Yeah. No, they did it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm excited that they're talking about using a different Marvel character in the next movie, so I'd like to see what they do with that.
Who would you team him up with?
Well, I mean, it's going to be after Infinity War, so...
Captain America.
After 3 and 4, so it can't be someone that dies in Avengers.
What about Doctor Strange?
That'd be odd. I don't know if I see that as much. I mean, they are both New York based. I don't know if I see that as much as far as the MCU as it's been established. He keeps talking about wanting to team up with Ant-Man. So
That'd be fun.
That would be fun, but I don't know if
they're both jokesters.
Yeah. For some reason, I feel like him and Captain America would be the next logical step.
They'll probably do something like that in the Avengers or...
But if Cap dies in the...
Because Chris Evans is... his contract is coming up. Like, he's got Avengers 3 and 4, then that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the case for a lot of these actors, and they can always sign on for more.
But he had said, like, I read a thing, like, Avengers 3 and 4 is going to wrap up his Steve Rogers.
But I've also heard things of him saying that he would keep doing these movies
forever. He told me personally that he's going to
quit. What's this? Oh, I just got a text message from Chris Evans. He says, yeah, I'm definitely in it.
Oh, yeah? Well, I got a text message from Samuel L. Jackson, and he said Jeff Grant is stupid and ugly.
Well, that... Maybe, but...
a little hurtful,
but... That has no bearing on this conversation. What do you think? There was that thing that said that Samuel L. Jackson was originally going to be in this movie and probably play more of like a mentor role.
Either way, I thought,
Yeah. I mean, that would make total sense. I mean, they kind of did that in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Ultimate Spider-Man series too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so after he turns him down, he goes back home, finds the suit, and I was looking at the suit real close because I was like hoping maybe it was just the cloth suit.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he gave it back to him, and it was just the look of it looked exactly the same, but it didn't have all the high tech gizmos and gadgets on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would have preferred. And I thought for a second looking at it, because the thing that made me think that is when he looked at the logo, the spider logo in the middle, it didn't look like the drone. It looked like it was just like flat like cloth or whatever material. And so I thought maybe he just gave him a kind of a replica of it kind of thing.
It's like just a regular old...
Yeah. But I don't think that's the case. I think that's the suit that he had the whole movie. And that's just because it's a film and that's just what it looks like, the little symbol. And they just use CG to make it a drone at times.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. But so he's got that high tech suit back and everything, as I said he would when we were talking about it. Like we were talking about of course he's gonna go off and prove himself as a hero, but then he's gonna get the costume back and everything by the end of the movie, and he does. Which I would love if he just went off and just had the regular, no bells and whistles version of the costume, and then he gets the Iron Spider for Infinity War because they're going to space. But then there's that thing that I did not see coming at all, where he's got the costume on and everything, and he's standing in his room, and then
what happens?
And then it pans out, and you see standing in the doorway.
I like the stupid look on his face.
Yeah,
because he's like, I'm Spider-Man. Like he's got this stupid noble look on his face.
Yeah,
and then what the fuck?
that was the best. That was such a perfect way to end that. It was awesome, and then
because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like the end of Iron Man 1.
Yeah, it is.
Where he's gonna keep secret identity, and then he's like, don't really need to.
Yeah. Well, Spider-Man needs to keep a secret identity because he has the people that the loved ones and stuff. But the reason he always kept it from Aunt May is like she was old and like she couldn't take it worrying about him and stuff. This Aunt May is not super old. She's still gonna worry about him and stuff.
Who in the Marvel Cinematic Universe really has a secret identity?
No one in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, I don't know if the world at large knows...
Spider-Man and, like, maybe Ant-Man?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if the whole world knows that Ant-Man is... Like, I don't know why they kind of went that way with these and just...
Well, I mean, none of them really need them.
True, none of them need them, but...
Thor really doesn't need it.
No, they don't need them, but...
Everyone knows who Bruce Banner is.
Yeah.
Iron Man just went ahead and said, hey, everybody, Captain America, it's not a big deal if people know.
I mean, yeah, because he's like people thought he was dead, so it would have been history at that point. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but I like secret identities with superheroes.
Well, you got Spider-Man. He's still got one.
Yeah. A couple more things on this movie just to touch on. There's that tag with the Vulture and Scorpion in jail. And I was glad they showed that because the way they left things with Scorpion, he could have been dead. Because he kind of got hit by a van.
So who else was he talking about? And
scraped off the side of the ferry.
When he's like, me and some of the other guys are...
I mean...
Who are the other guys?
I don't know.
Sandman?
I mean, he's probably got his gang on the outside and everything.
I want to say Sandman, not Dr. Octopus.
I don't need Sandman again.
I like Sandman. Because how do you fight him?
Yeah, but I mean, they kind of did everything they could do with Sandman. If they do Sandman, he's really just to fill out a Sinister Six lineup.
Yeah.
And the same with, like, Rhino, I feel. Those two...
That wouldn't bother me, though. If you just had two thug... You can have, like, your main two guys kind of fighting over who's the leader, and then the other ones are just kind of colorful just to have. You know? Yeah.
But anyway, they're kind of setting up him, I feel, as the villain in the next one. And just the idea of there's more of these villains out there and stuff, and they're going to eventually come together and everything. But I like how Vulture didn't tell.
Yeah.
He didn't tell him who he was.
Yet.
And, yeah. I mean, he might use that as a bargaining chip to get him in the Sinister Six.
Probably.
I think they definitely think he's going to be part of the Sinister Six.
Who?
Vulture.
Oh.
He's usually a part.
I'd like to see a Dr. Octopus again.
Yeah, me too. Because they don't feel like I get, like... Whereas on the other hand, with like character like Sandman and stuff like that, I don't think they've done everything they could do with Dr. Octopus. He's one of the bigger ones. He's one of his biggest threats.
Big two.
Like, big three, I think.
Who's three?
Venom.
Yeah.
But Venom came much later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those are like his biggest. I mean, they kind of did the big three in Sam Raimi's trilogy. They did Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and Venom, but they didn't do Venom well.
No, well.
But everyone, see, that's what pisses me off about the Amazing Spider-Man movies. They kind of fucked up Green Goblin so bad that, like, now people don't want to...
so weird?
Yeah, people, like
he's already dead.
People don't want to see Green Goblin again. We've already seen him twice.
Like, I don't know why...
3 times, because James Franco was the new Goblin or whatever the hell.
Like, they started off with, like, oh, he's sick. I was like, okay, well, he's going to do something to try to...
He's going to
cure it, but he's going to go too far, and he's going to be super awesome time. And they're like, no, he's dead. His head's in this jar. He's dead.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you doing it that way?
Yeah.
Who's in charge? Give me the thing. I'll do it.
Okay, so there was one last tag at the end of the credits in this movie with the Captain America tag.
It's probably the best end credits scene so far.
Yeah, it was so great. Like, because, I mean, it was perfect. Like, you know, that cameo in the movie was great the whole time and everything. And they really built it up in the trades and stuff. I was reading a lot about it. It's like, oh, you have to stay for the end credits. You're going to love this one. Whatever. So I thought it was some big
Avengers thing.
I thought it was a Sinister Six tease or maybe an Infinity War thing or maybe a Green Goblin reference or something like that. But no, it was just Captain America show up. It's like, sometimes, you know, you wait. You know, patience, like he was talking about, it was all about patience and waiting, and sometimes it doesn't pay off. And it was genius. Yeah. It was so funny. I'm wondering, like, for a split second, I was like, there's a part of me that was like, oh man, like, because I was expecting so much, but it was just so funny and perfect that I was like, it was perfect. I was wondering if there was anybody bummed about that.
Probably.
Like, we waited for that, and it was just this dumb joke.
Yeah.
But it was a funny joke, so I loved it. All right. Is there any other thoughts you want to?
No, I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. And anything any negatives that I have or whatever is just me nitpicking stuff because trying to find something to poke holes in or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's great. And I'm so excited to see the next one. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm excited for Infinity War, and I'm excited to see him be a part of those movies.
Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
Yeah, I'm excited for all the Marvel movies. But I think the one I'm most excited for now is Homecoming, the sequel to this one. Because Spider-Man's my favorite character. Like,
Spider-Man Prom?
Spider-Man
Summer Break? Spring Break.
Spider-Man Winter Formal. That's what they do.
Enchantment Under the Sea?
Yeah. Yeah. What if they were all dance themed? It was homecoming, winter formal, and prom.
That'd be like poking fun at Spider-Man 3. We're dancing around like an asshole.
Yeah. He goes to prom and he actually gets to dance this time.
It's not bad.
Okay.
People start yelling at him to stop dancing.
Yeah.
You're like an asshole. Stop it.
Yeah. I know you said earlier you were like kind of torn because of your fondness of them. I'm not at all. Like, I loved those movies at the time, but this is, to me, this is hands down the better movie. Like,
no, I know that.
I don't know about better or anything like that, but like, I mean, I like this one more than those. Like, I liked them at the time, and you know, and especially Spider-Man 2. I love that movie, and I'm not gonna stop loving that movie. But like, this is the Spider-Man movie I've always wanted to see. Anything else?
No, it's perfect. I love it. I want to get it on Blu-ray right now.
I know. I can't wait. They're saying that this is gonna have a lot more Captain America stuff like that with those videos. Yeah, I hope that's just the menu. It's just one after another of those. All right. If you like this episode, please do us a favor and subscribe to the Amazing Nerdiverse on iTunes or whatever podcatcher app you prefer. And most importantly, leave us a review. This is the most important thing you can do to help us out and help people find this show. If you're watching this on YouTube, just like the video and subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below. Share the show with your friends on social media. We're on Facebook at The Amazing Nerdiverse, on Instagram at Amazing Nerdiverse, and on Twitter, I'm at Jeff_Grants.
I'm at Steven Tukert.
And we are at Nerdiverse Pod. And finally, go to theamazingnerdiverse.com for all that and very little more. And until next time, I'm Jeff Grants.
I'm Steven Tukert.
We'll catch you right here next time in The Amazing Nerdiverse.
Hit 'em. And scene.